So we got the garlic and onions just about ready here. Okay, sauteed. Nice and caramelized. You can see that color. Beautiful. Okay, that's how you want to have it. And then I threw in a couple of basil leaves just to give it a little bit of flavor initially. And we'll put some more basil in later. Actually, these scented tomatoes come with basil. But we'll put some more. Can't have too much basil and garlic. Okay, so you want to make sure the heat isn't too high, but that's a perfect color. You don't want them burnt, or you don't want them too light, but almost translucent when you caramelize them like that. Now the pasta's almost done. You don't want to overcook it. You want it al dente, which is just right. You know, a little bit firm. And then it of course cooks a little bit once you pour the water out too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the tomatoes to our beautiful onion and garlic and basil mixture. So first of all, we'll take the can of tomatoes, and you can actually crush them by hand. What we're going to do is we're going to just pour the juice out. Okay. This way it'll give a little bit more liquid so the onions and garlic don't burn so much. Okay. So start it in there like that. Okay. And now make sure your hands are clean. And you can take the tomatoes and just crush them by hand. Just crush them like that and then put them in. You can actually use a food processor, but the thing about that, the food processor, it also crushes the seeds and you get a different kind of flavor. So I actually like to hand crush them. And this is probably how they did it in the olden days. I'm sure this is how Nana did it. So these are the San Marzano tomatoes. They're almost like plum tomatoes, but they're just a really good variety. So there's the crushed tomatoes. And you could actually, you buy them already crushed like that too, so, but it's not as fun, So you crush those tomatoes. It's a little messy, so that's why I want to wear an apron. Okay, like that, see? And probably get about 10 of these to a can, so we're going to, ooh, that one's splattered all over the place, but it's only tomatoes. So there you go, you have the tomatoes. And, ooh, that was messy. Okay, so we are going to pour the tomatoes in there, the rest of it, and there's sauce. Okay, now we have the remaining tomatoes here. So you want to reduce the liquid, and got the tomatoes in here. Now these are pretty messy, so probably it's better to do these in a bowl next time, but just squeeze them, squeeze them inside the pot and try not to get them all over the place. But they do have liquid inside. So you just want to squeeze them a little bit there. And there's crushed tomatoes. So we want to put those all in there. And pretty acidic, so my Nana used to put peel a sweet potato, and put the sweet potato in there raw, and she said it would absorb the acid. Of course, we didn't eat it, but sometimes I would take a bite of it because I love sweet potatoes, and it was pretty good actually. But I don't know if that's just an old wives' tale or if it actually works. But we're not going to do that today. Also, a hard-boiled egg. I remember she would put hard-boiled eggs in there, and that seemed to also get the acidity out. But it might be a trick from the old country. So just make sure you squeeze all the tomatoes. You can put them in whole too, but they won't cook down as much, so it's better to squeeze them in there. And got a few more here. Okay. And after we get done with this, we are going to check on the spaghetti. So you just squeeze them like that between your fingers. Okay. And it's Mickey in the background. He wants a little attention. Actually, it was kind of hectic before I went to go get my tripod in my car to do the show, and Mickey escaped. It was, I guess the gate was left open a little bit, and Mickey got out, and he ran into the field next door, and I was running through the streets looking for him, and had my apron on, getting ready to do the episode 3 here, and one of the neighbors said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Little white Pomeranian." He probably thought I was chasing a chicken or something through the streets, so this apron on. Okay, so the pasta is almost done. Let's see. Now we want to make sure it's al dente. We don't want to overcook it, so. Perfect. We want it a little bit firm. Okay? Now the sauce is cooking. So I'm going to drain this out, because you don't want to leave it in the water and then it'll get too overcooked. So put that in a strainer. Okay. So that's pasta is draining in there. Now the strainer is called the school of bust. So we're putting the school of bust. And now we got the nice sauce here cooking down. So you got, you just want to cook it down to a nice reduction, and you can cook this all day long. You can cook it for 5 or 6 hours, probably even more. But my nanny used to cook it pretty much all day. I see a bad piece of garlic in there. I don't know if it's burnt or what, but it should be okay. So anyway, you cook it down like that, and after it cooks for so many hours, it becomes thicker, and you can actually put a can of tomato paste in there too if you want to thicken it up a little bit. So, but we're not going to do that today. Alright, so in the essence of time, we are going to speed the process ahead a little bit. So I'm going to get the spaghetti. Okay, the spaghetti is nice and drained now. So what I do is I put it back in the pot here. Okay, I originally cooked it in the pot. I'm stuck over there. And this is the school of bust. This is a strainer, an Italian school of bust. And you can see it really didn't stick together too much, but what my nanny used to like to do, and I think it's a great idea, is you actually take a little bit of sauce, or gravy as we called it, and you put it inside the spaghetti there, and mix it in, maybe 3 or 4 spoonsful. Okay. And you mix it in there like that. Just put one more for good time's sake. Alright. And then you take the spaghetti fork and mix it up good. So now you can see there's no stick in there. It's nice, just nice spaghetti. So you can put, you can put a little bit more than that. And then maybe throw a fresh few basil leaves in there. Just give it a little bit of spice and flavor. Okay. So that's ready. We'll put that aside. Okay. And now we got the sauce cooking up. So we'll let that cook a little bit more. So these actually are really good tomato cento. They actually advertise the fact that they don't use any preservatives or artificial ingredients. So it's just basically tomatoes in here. They have a naturally derived citric acid, basil, whole peeled plum tomatoes, and tomato juice. And the San Marzano variety is the best. They make several different kinds of cento. And they happen to be from New Jersey, so they're good if they're from Jersey, West Deptford, New Jersey. Okay. So, and then the crushed tomatoes are these right here. And these are actually just fresh ripe tomatoes. And it says, some manufacturers of tomato products use a mixture of reconstituted tomatoes. Probably that Classico is that. But cento, we wouldn't serve it to our family that way. And we certainly wouldn't sacrifice our quality for our customers. Cento brand tomato products are made with 100% vine-ripe tomatoes, picked fresh and packed immediately to preserve taste. When it comes to the best tomato products, always say, trust your family with our family. Hey! So that's a cento. That's a very good. So these are good tomatoes. Kmart, you can get these at Kmart in Kahului right now for, I think they're $1.29. They went down. A big price reduction, whatever they call it, the big price drop. So, okay, so we're just stirring up the sauce here, gravy, and should be almost done. Okay. So that can actually cook probably for another hour or so. But when it gets, you can actually use it when it gets warm. But the longer it cooks, the better it is, and the thicker it tastes. Thicker it is. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a little plate here. And thank you all for your input too, by the way, how we can